it will show. Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the granite beanie, which you can see here in front of you. I also have my sample one here with me. This is a beautifully textured beanie featuring a spiked sedge stitch, so it's fairly thick, solid fabric. I've worked my hat with a double thick brim, so one that you're going to fold up. I'll give you some direction later on in the video should you wish to change it. This hat works great with a pom-pom or without. And it's fairly easy to work once you get the hang of the main stitch in the body. Today for the pattern, you're going to need about 350 to 400 yards of a worsted weight yarn if you're going to work the beanie with the double thick brim. I will be using the 2 of 1's Color Theory yarn. Again, you'll need about 1.5 balls of it. It has 246 yards in it, and it's just a 100% acrylic worsted weight yarn. This is the color Thunder. Later on in the video, I'll be using the color Cannon to work my demonstration. You're also going to need a 4.5 or a G7 crochet hook. Links to these items can be found in the description of this video. Also in the description is a direct link to the free written pattern on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. There's also several other pictures there if you want to take a look more at this beanie. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, take a look around. There's lots of other crochet hat patterns. Also, don't forget to subscribe because this channel is updated every week with new crochet patterns and crochet stitch tutorials. As I mentioned earlier, this hat is worked from the brim up to the top, and the brim of the hat is worked in rows while the body of the hat is worked in rounds. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And a couple of things about the brim, you can work it as a double thick brim as I have here. So what you're going to do if you'd like to work the double thick brim, so one that you fold over, you're going to start.
No matter what kind of butt you got, Huggies has more curves and an outstanding active fit. We got you, baby.
Your father knows about saving money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since boot camp.
And I just saved up around. There's lots of other crochet hat patterns. Also, don't forget to subscribe because this channel is updated every week with new crochet patterns and crochet stitch tutorials. As I mentioned earlier, this hat is worked from the brim up to the top, and the brim of the hat is worked in rows while the body of the hat is worked in rounds. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And a couple of things about the brim, you can work it as a double thick brim as I have here. So what you're going to do if you'd like to work the double thick brim, so one that you fold over, you're going to start by chaining 26. If you do not wish to have a brim that you fold over, I recommend chaining about 13. And then that way you'll just have a shorter brim. So go ahead, chain 26 if you'd like the folded over brim. And 26. Next, for row 1, you're going to start by working a slip stitch into the second chain from your hook. Now another note, if you prefer not to work a slip stitch brim, so slip stitches the whole way through, you may substitute your slip stitches for either a single crochet or a half double crochet. It's up to you. So you're going to slip stitch in the second chain from your hook, and then in each stitch all the way across. I'm working in the back bumps of my stitches. It's really just personal preference. So you're going to work a slip stitch in each stitch all the way across. Once you come all the way across, chain 1 and turn your work. We're now going to continue working slip stitches or single crochet or half double crochet if you've chosen to work a different stitch. And this time we're going to work it in the back loop only. So I'll just take my hook out here. If you look at the top of your stitch, you have a loop that's closest to you. You have one that's in back. This one that is in back is your back loop only. So you're going to, your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Slip stitch working in that back loop only of the first stitch and each stitch across. When you come to the end of this row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and repeat. So we will be working slip stitches in the back loop only of each stitch all the way across, chain 1 and turn. And you're going to do that until the brim of your hat measures approximately 16 to 17 inches when the fabric is relaxed. The slip stitch brim is quite stretchy. It does keep its shape very well. So you'll want to work it to about 16 to 17 inches, or shorter or longer if you're going to change the size of your beanie. And then meet me back here. Okay, so once you have worked your slip stitches in the back loop only, and you've worked about 16 to 17 inches, this is what your fabric is going to look like. You can see it's quite stretchy, but it comes back and it keeps its shape quite well. I just love a slip stitch brim. What we're going to do that now is take our brim and fold it over so that the two short ends meet. And we're going to work a seam along this long side. So there was no need to fasten off. You're going to chain 1 and crochet these two ends together. You're going to work a slip stitch in the back loop only of the first piece, reach across over to the back loop only of the next piece, and slip stitch. You're going to make sure that as you are working, you're not skipping any stitches, you're not working twice in any stitches. You're just going to go along your two short edges, working a slip stitch in the back loop only through both thicknesses, all the way across to the other side. Once you have slip stitched all the way across, you'll have a little bit of a seam right here. If you've worked the double thick brim, the one that you're folding over, you're going to leave it with the wrong side facing, as I'm doing here. So my seam is on the outside. If you've done a short brim, so one with about 13 chains and slip stitches, you're going to turn it so that it's right side out before you work this next round. For round 1 of the hat body, we're now going to be working around this rough edge, so the long edge of our hat brim. You're going to start by chaining 1, and you're then going to work 84 half double crochet stitches evenly all the way around. If you wish, you can place a stitch marker about halfway around and work half your stitches on one side, half your stitches on the other. It's up to you, but you want to work about 84 half double crochet stitches around. If you would like to change the size of your beanie, this first round of half double crochet stitches will need to be a multiple of 3 stitches. So continue working half double crochet stitches all the way around. There's no pretty places to put your hook. I'm just inserting it down a little bit into the brim. So continue all the way around. Once you have worked 84 half double crochet stitches all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Do not turn your work. For round 2, we're going to chain 1, and into the same stitch as joining, you're going to work a single crochet, half double crochet, and a double crochet, all into the same stitch. Skip the next 2 stitches, and into your next stitch, work a single crochet, half double crochet, and a double crochet. You're going to repeat that all the way around. Skip the next 2 stitches, into your next stitch, work a single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet, all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet. Chain 1 and turn, and you will be turning each round from here on out. Now what you're going to do for round 3 is we've chained 1. You're then going to work a single crochet and your half double crochet into the same single crochet that you joined in. So it's going to feel like you're going backward a little bit here, but you're going to single crochet into that same stitch as joining, and then double crochet into that same single crochet or half double crochet. You're then going to work a double crochet stitch, but you're going to work it into the space under the single crochet of the row below. So into the space 2 rows below where you worked your single crochet, half double, and double. So yarn over, bring your hook down into that space under the single crochet, yarn over, draw up a loop to the height of your double crochet, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. You're then going to skip the next 2 stitches and into the next single crochet, work your single crochet and half double crochet. Now into the space down below that single crochet, so into the same stitch where you worked your single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet, you're going to insert your hook and work a double crochet stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way around. Skip the next 2 stitches into the next single crochet, work a single crochet, half double crochet, and now into the space 2 rounds below, work a double crochet just below your other single crochet stitch. Repeat this all the way around. When you come all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet stitch. You're then going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now for round 4 and all the way through to round 21, you're going to repeat your round 3. So once again, back in this single crochet stitch, the same stitches joining, work a single crochet and a half double crochet. You're then going to work your double crochet stitch into this space below that single crochet stitch. Work a double crochet. Skip the next 2 stitches into the next single crochet, work a single crochet, half double crochet, and then into the space underneath that single crochet stitch, work a double crochet. So you're going to repeat this round 3 through to round 21, and then you're going to meet me back here. You'll then have completed the body of your hat. It will be about 7 inches tall from the where you finished off your brim here. So from the body of the hat will be about 7 inches. It'll come to about 21, around 21, and then you can meet me back here and we will close the top of our hat. So at the end of round 21, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. This is what your beanie is going to look like.
The key to being rich is knowing what counts.
So far, and you'll have an open top here that we are now going to sew close. So you're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail, and I'm recommending about 20 inches. You're going to take that long tail and thread it onto your yarn needle, and you're going to weave that piece of yarn in and out through the top round of stitches. As I'm weaving my thread in and out, I am inserting my needle where you would normally insert your crochet hook in the stitches. That way you're not going to have as much resistance when you go to pull the top of your hat closed. So working all the way around the top of your beanie, simply insert your needle in and out through that top round of stitches all the way around. I love using this way to close the top of a beanie because there's no odd decreased stitches or anything like that. You're simply going to work your texture throughout and then cinch the top of the hat closed all the way around. And careful not to skip any stitches. That way you're not going to have any gaps up at the top. Just like so until you come to your first stitch. When you come to your first stitch, you're going to then simply gently pull your thread so that it pulls the top of your beanie inward. And you're going to pull it as tight as you can all the way around. Once you have pulled it as tight as you can all the way around, you're then going to work one final seam just up here at the top. So what you can do is secure that end, and then I do like to turn my beanie inside out before I sew this final seam. There we go. So put my needle through to the inside, pull it through, and that way if there is a little bit of bulkiness, it's going to remain on the inside of your hat. So then you're just going to sew a straight seam just across that smaller opening. You'll want to pull it fairly tight. The tighter you make it, the less it will show when your beanie is finished. All the way across, making sure that you're working through both thicknesses. And pulling it fairly tight. Once you come all the way across, again, you will want to secure it. I like to work a little bit of a knot on the inside there. And then you can weave in your tail. Clip any ends, weave in any other tails that you might have out. And that is your granite beanie. So thank you so much for joining me. At this time you can either wear again as is or add a pom-pom to the top. It's really up to you, but that's it. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you again soon for another great crochet beanie pattern. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.
This thing? It's what's going on inside of me. It's my moderate to severe ulcerative colitis.
It wasn't always this calm. UC went everywhere I did. Wondering when it would pop up next was stressful, doing a number on my insides.
But then I found out about Velsipity.
A once daily pill, not a steroid or
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet, and welcome. Today we are going to learn how to crochet this embossed shell stitch, which is an absolutely
Hello, Jessica here with crochetitcreations.com, and today I am going to be working the Anna beanie.
Here it really shows off the design in it as well as this beautiful texture. The pattern is mostly to one side, so the back doesn't look all that bad as well. It creates a very thick, very solid, dense fabric when it's worked up. Today I'll be working with a 5mm crochet hook as well as 3 colors of a worsted weight medium cotton yarn, and this is the Pima Cotton by Lion brand. You can work this design in multiple colors or you can work it as one. It's beautiful either way. The links to these items will be found in the description below. As well, in the description you'll find a direct link to the free written instructions that are on my blog at richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, check out some of the other crochet stitch tutorials and free crochet patterns. This channel is updated weekly, every Sunday morning with a new free stitch tutorial. So be sure to follow along. Let me know if you use this stitch in a project down in the comments. And don't forget to tag me on social media. I would love to come and admire it. I will be working our stitch today in rows. So we're going to start by taking our color A, by making a slip knot and then working a foundation chain. Our foundation chain today will need to be a multiple of 12 stitches plus 2. Today I'm going to chain a total of 26. Once you have your foundation chain worked, you're going to begin row 1 by working a single crochet into the second chain from your hook. You're then going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Skip the next 2 stitches, and into your next stitch, work 5 double crochet. Skip the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. You're then going to repeat that all the way across your foundation chain, beginning with the skip the next 2 stitches and work 5 double crochet stitches in the next stitch. Skip the next 2 stitches, work 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches, and so forth, all the way across. Once you have 6 chains remaining, you'll have worked your 5 double crochet. You're going to skip the next 2 chains and then work 1 single crochet into each of the final 4 stitches. That brings you to the end of your row 1. At the end of row 1, chain 1 and turn your work. For row 2, we're going to begin by working a single crochet into the first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're then going to single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're now going to begin working some of that textured design in the shell stitches. So we're going to skip the next single crochet, and into our next stitch, or around our next stitch, we're going to work a back post double crochet. So we're working that back post double crochet around that first double crochet stitch. Yarn over, bring your hook in back of your work and insert your hook from back through to the front around the post of that first double crochet. Yarn over, draw up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 more. You're then going to double crochet in between the stitch you just worked and the next stitch. So in the space between that first double crochet and your next double crochet, work 1 double crochet stitch. You're then going to repeat that 3 more times. Back post, double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches. Back post, double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and double crochet in the space between that stitch and the next. Once you've worked the repeat 3 more times, you have 1 double crochet stitch left. You're going to work a back post double crochet around the post of that final double crochet stitch. You're then going to skip the next single crochet stitch and single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. And you're going to repeat that all the way across, beginning with the skip the next single crochet stitch, back post double crochet around the post of the next double crochet stitch, and double crochet in the space between. Repeat that 3 more times. Once you come all the way across, you're skipping that next single crochet and working a single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So you're going to repeat that all the way along to the end of your row. 1, 2, 2.
Welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head using some technical.
When you come across your shell and you have 1 double crochet, don't forget to work a back post double crochet in that final double crochet stitch before you skip the next single crochet. When you come all the way across, you have your 4 single crochet stitches remaining. You skip that next one and work 1 single crochet in each of the final 3 stitches. And that brings you to the end of your row 2. At the end of your row 2, you can chain 1 and turn your work. For row 3, we're going to single crochet into this first stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. You're then going to skip the next single crochet stitch and around the post of the next double crochet, work a front post double crochet stitch. Double crochet in the space between that stitch and the next one. You're going to skip the next double crochet and once again work another double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches. We're going to repeat that 4 times. Front post double crochet around the post of the next double crochet stitch, double crochet in the next space, skip the next double crochet, and once again double crochet in the next space. That was my second repeat. Front post double crochet in each of the next 2 spaces. Repeat that one more time. Front post double crochet into each of the next 2 spaces. For the 4th time through the repeat, you have 1 double crochet left, work 1 final front post double crochet. You're then going to skip the next single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and repeat, beginning with that skip single crochet all the way across. So skip the next single crochet, front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in each of the next 2 spaces, front post double crochet, and double crochet in the next 2 spaces. Front post double crochet around the final double crochet stitch, skip the next stitch, and single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Do that all the way across until you have 3 stitches remaining. When you have 3 stitches remaining, you're going to skip that next stitch, single crochet into each of the final 2 stitches, and that brings you to the end of your row 3. At the end of row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. You're then going to, for row 4, single crochet into this first stitch, and then work a front post single crochet, skip the next stitch, and work a front post single crochet in each of the next 13 stitches. So skip the next stitch, around the post of the next post stitch, which is a double crochet, you're going to work a front post single crochet. To work the front post single crochet, bring your hook in front of your work, insert your hook around the post of that next stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. You're going to work a front post single crochet in each of the next 12 stitches. So you're working all the way across your top of your shell here. Once you've worked a front post single crochet around the post of each of the next 13 stitches, you're going to skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and repeat. Skip the next single crochet and work a front post single crochet stitch around the post of each of the next 13 stitches. Skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way across until you have 2 stitches remaining. When you come all the way across and you have 2 stitches remaining, you're going to skip that next stitch, single crochet in the final stitch. If you would like to change color, as I'm going to do here, this is where you're going to do it. So you're going to insert your hook into that final stitch, yarn over and drop a loop with your color A, but then drop your color A. You can leave it attached for now, and it will depend on the design you're working. If you're going to work an edging around your project, then you can leave it attached and just pull up. But if you're not going to, then you'll want to fasten off and weave it in and then reattach it later. Otherwise, you can just leave it attached. You're then going to place your color B on your hook and pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. Pull it a little bit tighter. Some people like to use a slip knot to begin, and then chain 1 and turn your work. For row 5, we're all set to work in our color B. At the end of row 4, you've chained 1, turn your work. You're then going to chain 2 more, so you have a total of 3 chains. This chain 3 will count as a double crochet stitch. We're then going to, for row 5, work 3 double crochet stitches. Except when we work these stitches, we're going to be working into the top of the first single crochet 4 rows below, so in our row 1. We're going to yarn over, bring our hook in front of our work and into that first stitch of row 1, insert your hook, yarn over and draw up your loop, pull it up fairly tall to the height of where you're working, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. You want to do that a total of 3 times. There's 1 all into that same stitch. 2 and 3. You're then going to skip the next 3 stitches and work a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. Skip the next 3 stitches. Now working over top of the single crochet and into the stitch 4 rows below, you're going to work 5 double crochet stitches. So into your single crochet 4 rows below, work 5 double crochet stitches, again pulling them up to the height of your current row. All 5 into the same stitch. You're then going to once again skip the next 3 stitches and repeat single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches, skip the next 3 stitches and work your 5 double crochet stitches. Repeat that all the way across until you have 4 stitches remaining. When you have 4 stitches remaining, skip those next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochet stitches into the top of that stitch 4 rows below, all 3 into the same stitch. It is a little bit awkward, especially in this row here where there's not much fabric to hang on to. You're then going to kind of have to push those stitches in a little bit, and you're going to work 1 final double crochet stitch into that final single crochet stitch. And that brings you to the end of your row 5. At the end of your row 5, we're going to chain 3. That counts as a double crochet stitch and turn your work. You're then going to, for row 6, skip the first stitch, and in between the next 2 stitches, you're going to work a double crochet stitch. You're then going to back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch and repeat. Double crochet in the next space between the 2 double crochet stitches, and work a back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. You're then going to skip the next single crochet and single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Skip the next single crochet stitch. Around the post of the next double crochet stitch, work a back post double crochet, and then double crochet in the next space between the 2 stitches. We're going to repeat that a total of 4 times. So that was my first time. Then back post, double crochet in the next space, back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in the next space, back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and double crochet in the next space. You're then going to work one more back post double crochet stitch around the post of the next stitch. Skip the next single crochet and single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. You're going to repeat that all the way across. When you come to the end of your row, you're going to skip the next single crochet, work a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches, front post, repeat that once more, back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and then double crochet in the space between. You then have 1 stitch remaining and your turning chain. You're simply going to work a double crochet into the top of your turning chain. That brings you to the end of your row 6. At the end of your row 6, you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. For row 7, we're going to begin by working a double crochet into the space between the first 2 stitches. Double crochet into the next space. So you're skipping the double crochet and double crochet in the next space. You're then going to work a front post double crochet in the next stitch. And then repeat. Double crochet in the next space, skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next space, and finish off with a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. You're then going to skip the next single crochet and work 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Next, front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet into the next space, skip the next double crochet, and once again double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches. We're going to repeat that all the way across our shell. Front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in the next space, and then double crochet again in the space between the next 2 stitches. Front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in the next space, skip the next stitch, and double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches. Front post double crochet around the next post of the next stitch, double crochet in the next space, skip the next double crochet, and once again double crochet in the space between the next 2 stitches. All the way across your shell, and then work 1 final front post double crochet. Skip the next single crochet and work a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. You're going to repeat that all the way across until you come to your final stitches. You're going to skip the next single crochet, front post double crochet around the next stitch, double crochet in the next space, skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next space, front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, double crochet in the next space between the 2 stitches, and then finally when you come across, you're going to work a double crochet in the space between your turning chain and your next stitch, and finish off the row with a double crochet into the top of your turning chain. And that brings you to the end of your row 7. At the end of row 7, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. For row 8, single crochet into the first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then work a front post single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. Skip the next single crochet stitch and single crochet into the next. Skip the next single crochet stitch and front post single crochet in each of the next 13 stitches. Skip the next stitch and single crochet into the next. You're going to repeat that. Skip the next stitch, front post single crochet in each of the next 13 stitches. Skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next, all the way across to your final stitches, where you're going to skip the next stitch, front post single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches.
I'm not going to include my ugly face today. I'm not feeling well, but I found this way of doing it too. So now I have an extra source so you guys can see much better and much clearer. You see, you can see even the color of my nails. You see, it didn't need to get done, but I was just playing around with the nail polish. I've never been that kind of girl that was really beauty driven. Okay, yeah. So back to the show. Thanks for being here, by the way. I don't know how many of you guys are here, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
And then single crochet into the top of your turning chain 3. If you would like, at this time, you can switch to your next color, your color C, if desired. I'm going to switch, just as I did before, over to my 3rd color, placing it on my hook and drawing it through those last 2 loops. Then at the end of your row 8, chain 1 and turn. For row 9, using your color C, you've chained 1. We're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. You're then going to skip the next 3 stitches, working over top of the next single crochet stitch and into the stitch that is 4 rows below. And this time we're going to work under that single crochet stitch, under that middle single crochet. We're going to work 5 double crochet stitches. So if you're working it in multiple colors, it's easy. You're going to go right down to the bottom of the color, insert your hook into that middle, single crochet, yarn over, drop your loop, and work your double crochet stitch. So you want to work 5 double crochets all into that same space. Skip the next 3 stitches and single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. Skip the next 3 stitches and repeat. Work 5 double crochet stitches over top and under that next single crochet stitch 4 rows below. Then skip the next 3 and work 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. Repeat that all the way across until you come to your final stitches. You're going to skip the next 3 and then single crochet into each of the final 4 stitches. And that's it as far as the repeat is concerned in this pattern. And it probably did seem like a lot. So feel free to go back and watch this a few times and grab those written instructions on ridgetexturescrochet.com. From here, you're going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So rows 2 through to row 9 as much as you would like. And then I finish off my original swatch here. I'll bring it back on. I finished on off my original swatch on a row 8 to give it a more finished edge. So that's it for the embossed shell stitch. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, I invite you to subscribe. If you work up this stitch, feel free to tag me on social media, Rich Textures Crochet, so that I can come and admire it. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.
LTM. I am trying something different today, something that I haven't done before, so I am absolutely not going to call it a tutorial because I am learning how to do this myself for the first time. I have a project, hang on a minute, I have a project that I kind of wasn't really going to be a project, it was just testing yarn. It's the velvet yarn that I tested. You may have seen the video that I did. I will put a link to it up here in the corner. So this is some velvet yarn that I was testing in my machine, and because there isn't much yarn in the ball, I decided to just keep going and actually make a beanie out of it. But I took it off the machine just like this, which is fine. It makes quite a nice size for a slouch beanie. This feels beautifully soft because the yarn is a velvety.
Everyone, I'm Sarah.
However, I also have black velvet yarn, which when I was purchasing it, I thought I would make a reversible beanie and have the black velvet yarn on the inside. But I've already taken this off my machine. As you can see, it's off the machine. And then I thought, I actually still want to make it reversible and do the other side black. Now, I could, of course, just make a black one and then attach them later, but I thought it would be nicer. I was going to say easier, but maybe it's not easier, to attach this back onto my machine and then continue with the black yarn. So that's what I'm going to try and do today, is put a project that I've taken off the needles back onto the needles. Let's see how that goes. Will I succeed? Fingers crossed. I hope so. Now you can see what I've already done is this yellow scrap yarn I have threaded through all of the live stitches. So I've gone through and picked up all the live stitches and put them onto this yellow yarn so that I know where the stitches are, so that I can then locate them to try and put them back onto the machine. I did count as I was picking them up, and there are definitely 48 stitches, so that should mean that I've actually collected all of the stitches, that I'm not going to have drop stitch. So the next step is to try and put it on the machine. Note, I'm going to make sure that the project is the right way out, so the knit side on the outside and the purl side on the inside. So it's actually going to go on the machine like that. And that way when I continue on, it should look right. Here we go.
When someone you love dies, you will know what it is to be alone. You will never forget, and you will never forgive. The Crow, rated R. Experience it in IMAX Friday.
Hungry for something healthier? Feed them Purina One's proven nutrition. It helps support healthy energy for a difference you can see and hear. Purina One is always available with fast delivery at Chewy.
So here's my machine. This is the same machine that the project was made onto, and here is the project. And so what I need to do is get these stitches back onto all of these hooks. Now I'm not 100% sure where the start is. This is probably the start because there's yarn coming out. That is the yarn that I've picked up all the stitches on. So is it really the beginning? I don't know. Does it matter? I don't know. I've never done this. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. But basically, each of the stitches that I have picked up on this yellow scrap yarn, I'm going to try and put over a hook on the machine. I'll zoom in so you can see a bit closer what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I've zoomed in, and this is where that yarn is coming out. So it's this stitch right here. This is the first stitch that I'm going to try and put on, and I'm going to put it on the white needle, which is the first needle. Now I don't know, I will try and do it here. Of course you need to do this in a spot where the needle is up, so that's always going to be where the yarn holder is. So let's see how we go. purl side on the inside. I'm a bit paranoid about what I'm doing here, but let's see. Okay, one stitch on, I guess. Continue round. Here's the next stitch. Now, am I putting on these the right way? Am I putting them on purlwise or knitwise? I really don't know. And it's only going to be one row that looks a bit off if I've done it the wrong way. So I'm not going to... I've just realised I've done this wrong, because I'm not sure if you can see, but what I actually need is, I'm not sure whether I need the stitches to be over the pegs, which they're not, or just over the hooks. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's keep going and see what happens. Starting to think that this is reasonably easy now. I mean, it's not simple. It's quite tedious, really. But I'm thinking as I get closer to the end, it's going to be more difficult because I'm going to have less room. You know, I won't have all of this space here to work in because there'll be knitting on the machine there. So I'm not sure what's going to happen as I get close to the end. I may or may not be able to do it. I'm not really sure. Like I said, there's time, so I'm learning how to do this as I go, kind of thing. And I'm still not sure whether I'm putting the stitches on the right way or not. I'm kind of feeling like I may be putting some of them on backwards so that they'll be purlwise instead of knitwise, but so be it. It's only going to be one row that will be impacted, so I'm not overly concerned about that. I must say, picking up the stitches is a bit tricky. Sometimes I have to hold the waste yarn and pull the project so that this stitch becomes more visible, and then I can actually pick it up so that I can put it on the needle. Trying to be careful that the waste yarn isn't getting caught up in the needles so that when I need to, I'm actually going to be able to undo it. So holding the waste yarn, pulling the project, and the stitch kind of pops out a little bit more, and it makes it easier to find and get my needle through, so that I can then hook it over onto the needle, just pulling the waste yarn out of the way. So I'm not even halfway yet, but that's all right. Now already, I'll just zoom out a little bit. You can see I've done about half now, and already this is starting to get very tight. So I'm not really sure what I need to do about that. I can potentially undo this yarn. This is the end yarn that I think I had pulled through the stitches and then was going to cinch it closed. But I have got the waste yarn, this bright yellow yarn, nice contrasting colour, so it's easy to see. I've got this yellow yarn in here that is holding my live stitches as well, so